Domestic markets remain upbeat so far today, an improvement from the sluggish close yesterday. The rand, on the other hand, is flat, but still below the 19 rand to the dollar mark. Let's bring in the Chief Investment Officer at Benguela Global Fund Managers, Zwelakhe Mnguni. It's great to talk to you as always. Let's begin here this afternoon. Moody's Investors Service has cautioned that our country may struggle to make much more progress on resolving long-standing challenges if a coalition government emerges after elections this month. Help us make sense of these sentiments, Zwelakhe, especially as we count down. It's now 26 days to go until we head to the polls.
Yeah, thanks, Michelle. I think I share the same sentiments. I think there is going to be big difficulty in a coalition government to make decisions. So, for example, if you have to pass legislation whether it requires 50% plus one or 2/3, I think it would make it very, very difficult for the government to make decisions in an environment where there's coalition, because there are trade-offs the whole time. Every decision would require trade-offs. So the impact, therefore, is that from a fiscal point of view, from a reform point of view, you're going to actually struggle to implement decisions, and that might not be good for our economy.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so much at stake as we head on to elections. It's not just about the parties themselves and them being on the campaign trail. The impact of however these elections unfold is going to be wide-ranging, and a lot of it is going to be economic.
Absolutely, and I don't think the parties are thinking about us at the moment. They're thinking about themselves.
So let's move on. Let's move on to this, Zwelakhe. 2.2% year-on-year increase I'm seeing in April for new vehicle sales, obviously surprising the doubters who predicted another dismal market performance. But what drove, pardon the pun, what drove this uptick?
So predominantly the local market seems to have been a little better than expected. So the dealers drove the volumes. It looks like there were a lot of vehicle sales that were happening at the dealer level. And then secondly, we also saw the vehicle rental market also participating in that growth. I mean, to be quite honest, it's about 800 vehicles, additional vehicles that were sold compared to the previous month. I think what caught my attention was the fact that on the export side, I mean, there was a big drop. I think it was down about 23%. Again, there is a bit of a concern from my end that we are seeing less imports of vehicles, and maybe the global environment is starting to have an impact on demand for vehicles globally, and that is affecting our ability to export more vehicles to the global market.
And then finally, some good news for Quantum Foods. They're expecting to see a substantial improvement in earnings. Obviously, last year, the egg, poultry and animal feed producer experiencing a massive drop, or a sizable drop in profitability due to load shedding and, of course, that bird flu epidemic. But talk us through that forecast, Zwelakhe.
Yeah, I think I was actually quite impressed by how they've been able to rebuild their stocks. I mean, they as you said, they produce eggs, they've got some poultry and animal feeds. Essentially, they were badly affected last year, and this is just a simple reset or recovery out of that bad period where the stocks were wiped out by bird flu, and they are now able to report much improved numbers in the current financial year.
And then Apple reported a smaller than expected decline in quarterly revenue, but also unveiling a record share buyback program. It's sending its stock up 6% in this extended trade. What do you make of it?
I think in the build-up to the results, everybody was worried about the sales and how the earnings are going to come below expectations. But suddenly they came up with a a big bucket of buybacks of $110 billion. And the market cheered to that, and the stock was up 6%. But broadly speaking, I mean, the iPhone market has been under pressure in China. There has been a lot of pressure on iPhone in the East. So we are seeing that is hopefully bottoming out in the current quarter. They still believe that they can still be able to grow in that market.
Yeah, certainly. Well, thanks very much as always for joining us this afternoon, Zwelakhe Mnguni. Is it too early to wish you a wonderful weekend ahead?
It's weekend already, so I'm going to it straight away.
I'll join you in just a moment. Zwelakhe, thanks very much. The Chief Investment Officer at Benguela Global Fund Managers.